My next guest stayed unbeaten inside of the cage, this time picking up a big win at Bellator 243. And of course, it is Grant Neal. Grant, how are you?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Yeah, and as I said before we went live, man, wow, what an impressive victory. You looked fantastic. You stayed perfect inside of the cage, and this was a really tough guy to finish. You landed some monster shots throughout the fight and weren't able to put him away. I know you did say in the post-fight press conference that you weren't upset about it because, you know, he's just a tough guy. You know, looking back on the fight now, you know, are you pleased with your performance? You wish you could have maybe capitalized on something to maybe get a finish?
Definitely, there's a lot of learning experience that I gained from this fight, and just understanding just certain positions. I mean, there was one spinning back elbow that I hit, and it completely collapsed him, but he fell on top of me. And so I didn't know if he was trying to defend a shot, because immediately after I do that technique, I shoot in practice. But I thought he was sprawling, but if you watch the video, he was out. And so there's just like little things like that that I can recognize and capitalize on. But overall, I thought I performed pretty well, all things considering. I had a very difficult camp with my head coach. He actually
there you go.
My head coach, his daughter got in a very severe car accident, so he was unable to be out there with me during that fight. So there was just a lot of things that I had to deal with externally that it kind of showed me that I'm where I'm supposed to be and I'm ready, and it's all right, you know. So there was just a little bit of that going into it, but ultimately I was very proud of the performance I put on, considering all the stuff that I went through leading up to the fight.
How is your coach's daughter?
She's doing a lot better. I mean, it was a very severe accident. She was paralyzed at first. We didn't know the extent. I mean, I guess, had stopped breathing in the helicopter lift. So it was like, there's a lot of things going on with that. And she had some major surgeries, but right now she's recovering really well. And we kind of get my coach back as well. So all things considering, I mean, it's a really good outcome after seeing the horrifying images from the car accident. But yeah, there's just a lot of ups and downs throughout the camp that it wasn't normal, but I kept on telling myself, hey, you got this. This is normal. You just got to roll with it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that she's doing better, and pray for her to continue to get better and get back to normal. And you did say, you know, this camp wasn't normal, but I guess our way of life right now isn't normal with this whole pandemic and everything. What did you think of the overall experience at Bellator with the testing and everything that you had to go through leading up to fight night?
I honestly thought Bellator did a really good job handling the situation and making sure that everybody was safe. Because first and foremost, we have to keep everybody healthy. That's not only competing in the events, but also the people surrounding the events that put it on, the people working behind the scenes. And there's a lot of things that went into it, and a lot of people really like making sure that we were good to go. And I thought that Bellator did a phenomenal job, and the Mohegan Sun, to really make sure that we had what we needed to perform, and then also to keep us safe.
How weird was it not competing in front of fans right there in the audience? Was it a little bizarre stepping in the cage?
You could hear your coaches really well. So that was kind of cool. I knew that I had a lot of fans watching me though. Regardless, I have an awesome following and fan base. I mean, I travel with fans. I have 50 to 100 fans that come all around the country with me. So, yeah, that was a little bit weird, but I knew they were all watching. So when I step in the cage, that kind of gets blocked out anyways. So it wasn't too difficult. It was just new, just something different.
Yeah, it was definitely strange. I was there, and the whole setup, I mean, Bellator, as you said, did a great job, but with no fans there in attendance, it's not something that any of us are used to, whether you're inside the cage fighting or outside of the cage covering it. Now, as far as the in-fight adjustments go for this one, what was your corner telling you in between rounds, in between, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3? What were they wanting you to try and go in there and execute?
So we really were doing keeping everything super basic on the feet. We felt that this guy really didn't have anything but like a home run ball, so we were just keeping it like kind of calm and clean. And my coaches were like, "Hey, you're not tired. This is you're at elevation," because sometimes you get into that mindset like, yeah, normally in practice by this time I'm tired, but I was like, man, this ain't Denver. This is easy. So I felt like I could continue to go at that pace, and the corner recognized it and was like, hey, just keep putting it on him. And there were just short, small little adjustments, positional stuff that we were just working and getting experience in. And I mean, I just took this fight as another learning experience and a stepping stone in my career. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned, training at elevation. I got to imagine that just does absolute wonders for your physical conditioning and your cardio. I really feel like Colorado is going to be a hotbed of where fighters are going to be moving to set up shop and train just because of that alone.
I mean, it already is. I mean, it's one thing to have just that factor of something that you just wake up every day and you're already getting better by just being in elevation. Like, that's something that is pretty awesome to be a part of. But we also have access to, I mean, the top gyms in the world. I mean, we got 2 top 5 gyms right down the street from each other. So we utilize all that. And I think the sky's the limit for Colorado MMA. I think it's going to turn into like a mecca for big MMA stars. And I think people are starting to recognize that, hey, there's a lot of things, great things happening here. And who doesn't want to live in Colorado? It's a beautiful place. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're 100% right. I really feel like, more MMA gyms are going to start opening up, and you're going to see more and more fighters moving there here in the near future. Now, you talked about some of your teammates. I heard Brandon Gertz louder than anyone there that whole night. He was just screaming, telling you to go for the finish. What is it like having him in your corner? He's just such a good guy and obviously a great fighter as well.
Yeah, so Brandon is like my big brother. And he gets me in different ways than maybe some of the other coaches and whatnot. It's like I'm little big brother is what he calls me. So he understands just certain positions and just his awareness. I mean, Brandon's a finisher, and he's like, he makes guys pay and he punishes guys, and so he's just like walking me through those positions, and he gets fired up. I mean, we're family, and so like, if your family members going in there, like it brings a little bit more of an intensity to it. And that's Brandon. Like, Brandon's already an intense guy. And so, I mean, when his little brother's in there, it gets him going even more. So I love it. And I mean, he knows how to get me to go as well. Like, when we're in the training room and maybe Brandon's not in the round or I'm in a round, he's getting me going too. He's the same thing in the training room. It's like, I had a training partner during this camp say, yeah, I'm not sparring you if Brandon is out there talking anymore, because he gets me to a different level.
That's fun. Yeah, he really is a good dude. I interviewed him earlier on that same fight night, and I've been interviewing him for years now. I got to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Ryan's Own Beef Jerky. I gave him some beef jerky, and I don't think he shared it with you post-fight. He waited until he got home.
He wasn't going to. He's all like, yeah, man, I have this beef jerky, but I didn't want to mess up your stomach or anything before the fight. And so he's kind of using this as like an excuse. I didn't see a shred of that beef jerky, like not even close. And like, I think Vici got a beef jerky and I didn't. So like, I'm like, I have to give him some stuff about that because I love beef jerky. So, but I'm also a light heavyweight, so he knows if he would have left it out, it's all over.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, I'm sending him some more soon. I'll make sure that you get some as well. You got to make sure to try it. It's the best around, and he's got to take care of his brother. Right. Now,
if he lets me. If he lets me.
Yeah. Vici comes first, right? And then you're a close second.
Yeah, Beach is the first on all of our hearts, right?
Yeah, no doubt. That's a phenomenal dog. As far as some of your other teammates go, obviously you're getting in the work with the big boys. You mentioned, Nate Marquardt's like a mentor to you. You got Overeem, you got Curtis Blades. I mean, they're just some monsters
Yeah.
that you guys have there in some big weight classes. How beneficial has that been?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, I remember, I think it was one of the first days sparring with Overeem. He asked, Grant, how old are you? And I told him what year I was born. He goes, man, that was when I took my first professional fight. he's like, you're a baby. And it just was awesome to be in the presence of like someone who I looked up to, watched throughout their career and still excelling at a high level. And just the knowledge that those guys bring. And since sparring, I get to spar with those guys a lot more. But from the technical training standpoint, it's more of, I have a lot of light heavyweights and middleweights that we set up a group. So one of the marquee middleweights is Ian Heinisch, who's in the UFC right now. He's got a phenomenal story. And him and I have really kind of meshed really well and just have been helping each other out, our styles. And Sugarfoot Adams, who just fought on the Contender Series last night. I mean, we have a lot of great middleweights and light heavyweights, which is kind of hard to come by. I mean, those two weight classes, there's not many. There's like one or two at each gym. And so now we're kind of building a group that's like, man, we have great middleweights, we have great light heavyweights, and we have phenomenal heavyweights as well. So anything that I need, depending on the opponent that I'm facing, I have access to.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
That's fantastic. I mean, iron sharpens iron, and you guys have a whole skill set right there, just monsters to pick and choose from. Which leads me to my next question, because I was trying to get a look at you. It was first time I saw you in person and try and figure out if you would jump ship to different weight classes, whether you could go down to middleweight or whether you would maybe bounce up to heavyweight. What do you foresee yourself doing here in the future? Are you just going to stick at 205, or would you jump around?
So I always tell everybody I'm a 205er through and through. I mean, I go up to like 225 outside of camp. So like that's what I like walk around at. But I haven't been 185 since freshman year of high school. I think I wrestled at 189 pounds. So I'm a very thick person. But if the money's right and there's a championship on the line, you best believe I'm making that cut. And so there's no question in my mind that I would be able to do that. Like I'd definitely be able to do it. But it definitely would have to come down to what's the best option in my career. Right now, I feel that I don't think that there's a light heavyweight that is stronger than me in any division or any organization right now. I feel I'm the strongest light heavyweight. And it's just about sharpening my tools and continue to keep getting better and climbing. And if you feel strong at a weight class, why change it? Right. I mean, a lot of people go down or a lot of people go up, but I mean, I feel really good at where I'm at. And a lot of times guys have a lot of trouble finding me. I have abnormally long arms and I'm quick. And I'm under people. And so it's not like boxing. In boxing, your height and length matters a little bit more. But in wrestling, when you feel like someone's always able to take you down just because of their height, it makes it really uncomfortable. And I really give guys that are taller than me a lot of trouble. Yeah. It's not fun to fight me. And that's what Overeem and Curtis say. They're all like, I'm so sick of it. So it's funny to see that. It's not boxing. This is MMA.
Yeah. Well, not to sound weird or anything, but like I couldn't get over the size of your thighs. Your thighs are enormous. They're like Barry Sanders thighs. I don't know if you've ever had them like measured or anything, but they literally just look like a couple of tree stumps. I mean, I would think that trying to make that cut down to 185 might be a little problematic for you, but you're saying no.
No, it wouldn't be problematic because I'd do it the right way. Like I have some of the best nutrition coaches and strength and conditioning coaches that we would put together a plan and we'd get down there. And it's all about doing it the right way. And for my camps, I mean, I take it very, very seriously. I don't believe in the depletion and cutting weight. I believe in cutting weight properly, and I take my whole entire camp to cut to 205. So like now I'm fighting you and I feel good. Like I don't have to do like a crazy like cut where I'm cutting every single bit of water and sodium and depleting all my muscles. Like when I step into the cage, it's bad news because I feel absolutely amazing. And I think that would be the same way at 185. I just have to have notice, right? The organization would have to give me notice, and then they would have to money would definitely have to be right, because you know, like eating a cup of food every day is not the most fun thing to do. But yeah, if it's right, then I do it. And then also I feel like I hold my own at heavyweight as well. Just watching some of the heavyweights, I feel like my strength and speed is would give a lot of the heavyweights some trouble. And when you take down a heavyweight 3 times, they usually tend not to get up. So
yeah. That's a really good point. How many fights do you have left on your Bellator contract?
It's between 2 and 3 more fights on my contract. It's a little weird with we've had some opponent drops and some different issues with the COVID-19 and the extension, because it's a time frame contract and a fight contract. So I think the time frame got extended a little bit because of the COVID issue. So we'll see what we're doing. But Bellator's been a phenomenal place for me, and I really think that they appreciate what I'm bringing to the table and understand what I can do and as a company asset.
What would be the biggest factors for you when deciding, when it does come time to renegotiate that contract, you know, staying with Bellator, if the UFC shows interest and they want to bring you on board, you know, maybe going with them? What are going to be the big factors for you in making that decision?
So ultimately, I'm a guy that I'm old school guy. So when I commit to somebody, it means something. And so when I said I'm committed to Bellator and this contract, it really means something, and they've treated me as such. So I mean, I really am happy with what they're doing in the organization and really building me and matchmaking to where it's giving me, they're not just feeding me guys, you know, like some organizations, they have a young prospect and they'll spoon feed them. And they're genuinely giving me guys that, hey, this guy's going to test you. Like, all right, so we're bringing in a jiu-jitsu black belt for your first fight, and he's been in world championship jiu-jitsu matches. We want to see how you do with him. Okay, now we're going to test you with a guy that's just hard-nosed and just doesn't give up. Then we're going to see how you do with him. And then now I got a guy who is a kickboxing champion in Kuwait and has a lot of accolades from a striking standpoint. And they're not feeding me anybody, and I love it. They're trying to really genuinely develop me. And that's awesome, like to have an organization willing to do that, because not many people have that opportunity. So I definitely will take that in consideration as well. And you know, the numbers got to be right. Ultimately, I have to be able to feed myself, my family, and then also I have very ambitious goals of going to med school. So I'm fighting and literally paying my way through school by fighting. So it's interesting. So definitely the numbers got to be right as well.
Well, so are you in school right now?
Yes, I am.
No kidding. So are you working as well as training and going to school?
Yeah.
How do you find enough hours in the day?
Definitely time management is key. Time management is key. And I've been actually very fortunate to have both professors, mentors, business owners that allow me to do what I'm doing at a high level and work with me. It's pretty awesome, and to have those people around you that allow you to go after everything that you need to go after, but also understand things. Like sometimes you get like a professor that doesn't really understand that, hey, like I'm on my way to class from a workout, and like they can be real sticklers. But so far I've been like, it's been really awesome. My professors have been very understanding, and it's kind of weird with COVID right now. So I don't know what's going to even happen with schooling this next coming up semester, but should be hitting this application process for med school here and for getting after that.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. You're clearly a very well-rounded guy here. When you're done fighting, whenever that time comes, 20 years down the line, whenever it may be, what would you like to be doing here? What would be your, I guess, your dream job when you do get your degree ultimately?
So I actually, it's always been a dream of mine to be an orthopedic surgeon. So I would love to be able to help people and to be connected to a lot of athletics and really improving people's lives. For me, I've had a few different surgeries and going through football, and the reason why I was able to exceed at the level that I was able to is because I had phenomenal surgeons, and I also had experiences with bad surgeons as well, not personally, but talking to them and they don't understand, like, someone who has an athletic mindset that wants to get back out there and things like that. And I feel like I bring something to the table that maybe your more intellectual, not personable type of physician might not. And that level of understanding gives people hope. And I really feel that pursuing that, I think I can give a lot of people hope and hopefully change lives, like whether that's in medicine or whether that's using platform and MMA to do so. Whatever God has in store for me, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to attack it 100%.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations on that. That really is an amazing thing that you're doing on top of already, you're at an elite level as a mixed martial artist. Now, as far as this camp goes, whenever you do step back into the cage next, what are you hoping happens here moving forward? Are you looking to fight again relatively soon? Do you want to take a little time off? Or are you just
Heck yeah. So I think we were just talking about it. I I messaged you. We pushed this back an hour. I was in the gym training. So for me, it's difficult. I think some of my coaches have to hold me back. It's never like, Grant, you need to get in the gym. It's like, Grant, okay, slow down. You just had a fight. But like, I get so excited and I genuinely love what I do. And when you love what you do, I mean, it makes even the hard days seem easy. So, I mean, I'm excited and I'm always ready to fight. So whenever Bellator gives me a call, I'm ready to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they're going to get me back in there soon, probably get another one before the end of the year. And now I get to have my head coach cornering me. So it's going to be even a different fight. We kept it kind of subdued on the feed. I only showed a few flashes of the new stuff that we've been putting together, but it's, when you have your head coach there, it's now I know what it's like not to have him there. And so it's going to be something special. And people are going to be like, oh my gosh, what the heck? It's going to be fun. That's all I got to say. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to give away with that. But yeah, we were very just like kind of subdued on the feet, and just we did a few flashy things, but there's some fun stuff that we've incorporated.
You don't want to show all your cards. That makes sense. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a scary proposition for whoever signs on the dotted line to step into the cage with you next. But let's talk about that. Who do you like? Who makes sense for you at 205 on the Bellator roster?
I'm a fighter. Like that's who I am. You sign the dotted line. I respect that you signed the dotted line, and I'm going to sign it too, and we're going to go on there and fight. So it doesn't matter. My style is absolutely relentless, ridiculous pressure, amazing cardio. So anything makes sense for me. I'm going to give anybody a great fight, and it's just exciting. So to me, it's just like whoever signs the dotted line. Sometimes it gets hard to find people, right? I have a style that not many people want to fight because it's tough, it's annoying, it's grueling, it sucks. You come out of the fight and you feel like you went through like 5 car crashes. So it's not a fun style to go against. But when they get someone to sign it, it's going to be fun.
Do you feel like you've proved enough maybe to get a shot at someone in the top 5 or close to that point?
I feel as though whatever Bellator wants to put together. I know we have a few fights getting ready to shake up the scene. I know that Corey Anderson just signed, so that's going to be interesting. They'll probably get him a fight here at the beginning, pretty soon. He'll probably have a fight, and then I want to see how everything shakes out with that, how Bellator handles that, and then also we have Bader and yeah. So it's there's some cool things happening in the light heavyweight division, and I'm curious to see how things shake out. And I'm excited for whatever happens, and I'll just know I'm going to be ready.
Corey Anderson is an interesting stylistic matchup because he's tall, he's long, different body type than yourself. When you think about that fight, if that fight does happen, what ultimately is going to transpire if you guys do lock horns inside the cage?
Well, so Corey Anderson is a great wrestler. I'm a great wrestler as well. The thing that will separate me is I have an X factor, and that's my explosive power and my speed. A lot of people don't understand how fast I am until they get in the cage with me. And if you watch my fight, I'm extremely difficult to hit. And by the time I hit you, I'm already out of your zone or you're getting taken down. So you got to choose, and it makes it very difficult for people. And I think that I think stylistically a matchup with him would be phenomenal. It would be a great fight. So here in the foreseeable future, I think that'd be something to look at. Next 2 or 3 fights, let's do it. I love that. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things happening in the division. So I just kind of want to see how everything shakes out, and then see what Bellator puts together.
For sure.
I'm excited.
Well, sign me up. You and Corey Anderson, that fight would make a lot of sense. I'd love to see it. And again, it would be a really interesting stylistic matchup. But yeah, we're all excited to see what is next for you, Grant. Again, congratulations on the big win. Before I do let you go, I want to get your pick on what the big heavyweight fight going down this Saturday night between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. Who do you think wins that one and why?
Oh, I got Cormier all day. So I think in the last fight, Cormier absolutely was dominating Stipe on the feet, and I just, you can't wrestle with Cormier. And I just think that Stipe made a very good game time decision and going to the body shots. And honestly, Cormier was coasting and got caught. And I don't think that'll ever happen again. It was a hard lesson to learn, but he was just like, dang, I am beating him up. And he got a little comfortable and started coasting in rounds 4 and 5, and he got caught, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when you're with dangerous guys and you're at the top of your division. So that same mistake will not happen again. And I know that Cormier has been training his butt off, and talked to a few guys in his camp. A few guys that in his camp come down and train here, and they just saying, like, he's looking like a maniac right now. So I feel sorry for anybody that's got to step in the cage with him.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun one.
But
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if Stipe has really been put in his mind. I don't know if he's looked past this fight or not, but in a lot of the interviews and things that I was seeing kind of at the beginning of the whole COVID pandemic and quarantine, Stipe kind of was just like, I don't have access to gym. It seemed like a lot of excuses, and it's like, I don't have training, or like the COVID pandemic is, it seemed like it was controlling him instead of him being able to control what he could control. And it seemed a little bit like an excuse, but I mean, you don't know what's in a man's heart until you really step in the cage with him. But that seemed kind of iffy to me. So I don't know what's going on with him mentally. And if he's mentally prepared, it's going to be a tough fight still. But if he's still on that back and forth, I think Cormier is just going to absolutely manhandle him.
Either way, I can't wait for this fight. I'm just really salivating, waiting for Saturday night to get here. Where are you watching the fight? You going to get together with some of the teammates, maybe Gertz, and watch this one?
Yeah, so we'll probably watch it. We usually watch a lot of the fights. It's either at Gertz's house or at Gaethje's house. So, I mean, we're all family. So it's like I'm in an apartment still. I'm not on the big status like them. Those guys got houses. So I was like, I'll host after. Give me like 2 or 3 more Bellator fights. I'll host. But so it's either gonna be Brandon or Justin's house, and we'll have fun, watch those fights.
Gotcha. Well, enjoy yourself. Have fun come Saturday night. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today. Before I do let you go, if there's anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors you have, the floor is yours.
Yeah, definitely. So I would love to thank all of my sponsors, but more specifically, I have a really awesome sponsor. Her name is Body Love Vital, and she does all my skincare and like everything to get me ready for my fight. Because, you know, soaps and stuff have additives and synthetics and hormones that can alter the way that you perform and the way that you go about living. But everything's all natural that she uses, and it's made with love and it's care. And she made the hand sanitizer that I use before all my fights. So it was phenomenal. And so I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Body Love Vital. Then I have a meat sponsor as well. It's called Untamed Bison. And so I get all my meat that is hormone-free, free-range bison, and it's humane and awesome, and it fuels every one of my camps. And then Real Food Denver, her name's Laylee, and she's my nutritionist that puts together all my meals. So she uses the bison that I acquired from my other sponsor and then puts together all my meals during fight week. So I would love to thank those. And then my last sponsor I'd really love to thank is it's Dr. McWhorter's neuro and chiropractic. He really helps my brain and brain training. So if you get hit in the head, you definitely want to be training your brain. And so he keeps me healthy, and he's been a phenomenal asset to my game. I'm not going to give too many of the details because it's an X factor, but he definitely keeps me right, sharp, and ready to go. So those are the sponsors I'd love to thank. Thank you so much for your time as well. Brian, this has been awesome. It's fun talking to you. You're a great interview host, and anytime you can call me and we can chop it up. I'll give you an interview all the time, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Hey, it's truly my pleasure, man. I really appreciate the kind words. I look forward to having you back on again soon, and I'm going to make sure you get some of that jerky. It's coming your way soon.
Oh, I would love that. Come on. You know, I'm a light heavyweight. We love jerky.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's teriyaki, there's soy sauce, and then the jalapeno. So you let me know which one you want. I'll make sure you get some.
I'm a jalapeno guy, man. I like it spicy.
Okay. You'll love it. Best beef jerky around.
Thanks again, brother.